Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital Monday, October 14 recap. Alexis charges dropped, Sonny's close call and Brad rattles Portia. General Hospital, GH, spoilers recap for Monday, October 14, reveals that Portia Robinson, Brooke Care, showed up in Curtis Ashford's, Donald Turner office, where she admitted she messed with Heather Weber's, Allie Mills, test results. Portia talked about the subpoena for the records and feared her career would be over if the truth came out. Curtis was concerned when he found out Ava Jerome, Maura West, knew about this, but Portia assured him that Ava wouldn't say anything since she wouldn't want to hurt Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ali. Although Curtis reassured Portia about the secret being kept under wraps, he still looked nervous deep down. At GH, Brad Cooper, Perry Shen, gave Terry Randolph, Cassandra James, updates on how his lab results investigation was going and suggested he just wanted to double-check his work. Terry acknowledged that Brad still needed to prove himself to Portia, but he felt confident he could get her to come around. Later, Brad privately called Portia's attention to his discovery of Heather's altered cobalt levels and Portia's visit to the lab the same day. After Brad asked what would get him a more favorable review, he wondered if Portia wanted him to do his due diligence by reporting this to the higher-ups or show his discretion. Portia advised Brad to hand over whatever was asked for in the subpoena, but she didn't see any need for him to give his opinion on the results. Once Portia said she pushed for Brad to be hired full-time, he left her with a paper copy of the results and said he still had a digital one. Once Portia was alone, she ripped up the paperwork in a fit of rage. At the PCP, Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, seemed ready to warn Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bernard, about the new evidence. But he didn't have to since Martin Gray, Michael E. Knight, rushed in and ranted about the cops keeping it quiet. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, was forced to admit that a gun had been dropped off, and after testing, it appeared to be the one Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, disposed of. This wasn't the same gun that killed Agent John Jagger Cates, Adam J. Harrington, according to the ballistics report, but Anna made it clear that the investigation was ongoing. Dex Heller, Avenhofer, also helped Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Beganos, pick up some dropped papers at the courthouse, where he let it slip about the new evidence in Alexis' case and left her curious. Back at the police station, Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, showed Elizabeth Baldwin, Rebecca Herbst, and Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, the recovered weapon, so Liz immediately admitted it looked like the one she saw Alexis dumping. Rick acted like he couldn't be sure at first, but Liz nudged him into confessing it indeed appeared to be the same gun. Over with Sonny, he bailed on his confession plan and lied that he just wanted to make sure Alexis wasn't being treated unfairly because of her connection to him. Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy, was relieved once she arrived and got all the latest details. Martin also filed a motion to get an immediate hearing, which was quickly granted. At Pentonville, Alexis urged Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy, to stop blaming herself and accept that Sonny was responsible for his own actions. Once a guard came with news on the imminent hearing, Christina assumed Sonny had indeed confessed. However, Christina and Michael Corinthos, Chad Dell, were confused once they headed to the courtroom. Sonny wasn't in police custody, so Michael and Christina realized the evidence had to be something else. Sonny shared a moment alone with Diane and conferred to her that he had no idea who dropped off the gun at the PCPD. In the hospital locker room, Terry found Elizabeth fuming over Rick, but she suspected she was really upset about Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson. Liz confessed she was worried about Lucky leaving again, since that would be tough on Aiden Weber, Colin Cassidy, Afterward, Liz was at the nurse's desk when she exclaimed over a computer notification and said there was a match for Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens. Back in Curtis' office, he summoned Rick and urged him to be honest about what was happening in Heather's case. Rick acknowledged that Heather's immediate release was possible depending on what the judge decided. At the police station, Anna suggested it looked like Dante might warn Sonny about the evidence for a minute there. Dante confessed that the thought crossed his mind since Rocco Falconeri, Fincar, might lose Lulu. It left Dante dreading the idea of telling Rocco that Grandpa Sonny was getting locked up forever, too. On Monday, October 14, General Hospital delivered a tension-packed episode full of unexpected turns, close calls, and unsettling confrontations. The episode opened with Alexis Davis sitting nervously in the courthouse, waiting for the judge's decision. She had been facing serious charges for her involvement in recent legal troubles, but her lawyer, Diane Miller, had managed to present a compelling case for leniency. Diane argued that Alexis' intentions were always noble, even if her methods were questionable. The courtroom was filled with familiar faces: Sam, who sat beside her mother, offering silent support, and Gregory, whose own feelings of guilt over his relationship with Alexis were palpable. The tension in the room was thick as the judge finally entered to deliver the verdict. To everyone's relief, the judge announced that the charges against Alexis were being dropped due to lack of sufficient evidence and her contributions to the community. The courtroom erupted in a sigh of relief, but Alexis remained motionless, overwhelmed by the weight of it all. Diane placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, and Sam quickly wrapped her mother in a hug. "I told you we'd get through this," Diane said confidently, but Alexis could only nod, her mind racing with relief and disbelief. After court, Sam took Alexis to the Metro Court, where they shared a quiet meal, grateful to have avoided what could have been a devastating outcome. However, Alexis couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The legal system might have let her go, but there were still personal battles ahead, and she knew they wouldn't be as easy to win. Meanwhile, over at Sonny Corinthos' penthouse, things were far from quiet. Sonny, still recovering from the recent chaos surrounding Cyrus Renault's resurgence, was in a tense meeting with Brick and Dex. Sonny had been one step ahead of Cyrus so far, but it felt like the walls were closing in. Brick had just received intel that Cyrus was planning something big, something that could be deadly for Sonny if he didn't act fast. Dex, loyal but nervous, expressed concern about how close Cyrus was getting. Sonny, with his usual calm intensity, brushed off the worry. "We've faced worse," he said, but his eyes told a different story. Cyrus had been a thorn in Sonny's side for too long, and even a man as seasoned as Sonny could feel the threat building. Suddenly, Dex's phone buzzed with an alert. He quickly glanced at it and then at Sonny, his face pale. "Sonny, you need to see this," he said, handing over the phone. On the screen was a blurry photo of what appeared to be a gunman hiding in a parked car outside the Corinthos coffee warehouse. Sonny's mind raced. If Cyrus was making a move, this could be it. Without a second thought, he ordered Brick and Dax to secure the warehouse and doubled down on security. "I'll take care of Cyrus personally," Sonny growled, his voice low and dangerous. Just as they were leaving, Nina entered the penthouse. She could sense the tension immediately and asked Sonny what was going on. Sonny, ever the protector, tried to brush it off, but Nina wasn't buying it. She had been by his side through thick and thin, and she knew when something was wrong. "Be careful, Sonny," she whispered, her voice laced with fear. Over at General Hospital, Portia Robinson was having her own problems. She had just finished a shift when she ran into Brad Cooper in the hall. Seeing Brad was always unsettling for Portia. He had been involved in so much drama and deception, And while she had tried to move past everything with Nell, there was still a part of her that didn't trust him. Brad, however, seemed unusually chipper, which immediately set off alarm bells for Portia. "You seem cheerful," she remarked, her tone wary. Brad shrugged, playing it off, but there was a glint in his eyes that suggested he knew something she didn't. "I'm just happy to be out and about," Brad said, but there was an underlying tension to his words. He leaned in slightly, his voice dropping. "You know, Portia, things have a way of coming back around in this town. Secrets don't stay buried forever." Portia stiffened. "What are you getting at, Brad?" Brad grinned, a little too wide. "Oh, nothing. Just that people should be careful. Things have a way of resurfacing when you least expect them." Portia's mind immediately went to Trina. She had worked so hard to protect her daughter from the truth about her biological father, Curtis, and the damage it could cause. Could Brad know something? Or was he just trying to rattle her for his own amusement? Either way, Portia wasn't about to let him get to her. "I don't have time for your games, Brad," she said firmly before walking away. But as she left, Brad's words echoed in her mind, leaving her with a sinking feeling in her stomach. Later that evening, at Charlie's pub, Portia met with Curtis. She couldn't shake the unsettling encounter with Brad and decided to confide in Curtis. "I ran into Brad today," she began, swirling her drink nervously. "He was weird. He said something about secrets coming back around." Curtis frowned. "Do you think he knows about Trina?" Portia shook her head. "I don't know, but it's Brad. He's always up to something." Curtis reached across the table and took her hand. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it together. We've come too far to let someone like Brad mess things up." But as the camera cut to Brad outside the pub, watching them through the window with a smug smile on his face, it was clear that he had more up his sleeve than anyone realized. Back at Sonny's penthouse, the night was far from over. As Sonny prepared to leave and confront Cyrus, his phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It was a photo of Carly, alone, at the Metro Court, followed by the words, "TikTok." Sonny's heart pounded in his chest as the realization hit him. Cyrus wasn't going after the warehouse. He was going after Carly.